Ever wonder what everyone's doing on their phones? They're banking with Bank of America. They're saving, planning, and budgeting all before dessert.
Digital tools so impressive, you just can't stop banking. What would you like the power to do?
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. It's good to see you all this afternoon. And I want to pop through a few slides to talk about momentum and our unshakable future, which is critically important to all that we're doing collectively to make Detroit become, again and again and again, one of America's great and essential cities. I moved here to Detroit in 2018, and what was important to me was to understand the DNA of this city. One of the things I read about was its decline, and why that decline was stifling the future. My mother asked me, I'm from South Carolina originally, my mother asked me, she said, now wait a minute, you mean to tell me you're gonna move to Detroit, Michigan from Georgia and you're from South Carolina? Let me get my head around that. I said, Mama, look, I met some folk up there and I like what I heard. And she said, boy, you ain't built for that kind of weather. Mother's always right. But what she didn't understand was that there was a groundwork that was being built in this city. And the groundwork was built on 3 Ps: public, private, and philanthropy. That philanthropy, that public, and that private crossed over to everything that we're seeing today. So, what's happening now? Well, what's happening now is Detroit's cool. And everybody, I don't care who you are, you run the cool every time. Matter of fact, I remember coming here and there were places out in the suburb that didn't put Detroit in their name. Now you can't tell Detroit from, I won't say, I'm going to get in trouble. I'll be too provocative. The point is that we have this momentum. And what's causing this momentum to happen? Well, that thing happened, all right? That thing just happened. That is a momentum builder, right? But also, the genesis of what I learned about Detroit was this. Detroit is a city built on its neighborhoods. Tori Hicks was in Atlanta when I was in Atlanta. She came back home to take care of her grandfather. And what she discovered was the neighborhood that she grew up in. What she left is not what she saw when she returned. She grew up near the Avenue of Fashion, all right? I'm an Avenue of Fashion lover. And she said, you know, I'm gonna create this new thing called Youthnique. Youthnique is a entrepreneurial hub, but it also takes care of mental health. Because I've often said entrepreneurship is a French word for crazy. So, with all of the things that are happening, here's the public part, had to invest in entrepreneurship. So we have this program called Motor City Match. 85% of those Motor City Match winners are minorities, 70% are women, 67% of those are owned by Detroit residents. $19 million in investment through the city yielded $100 million in impact. Now that's what you call a return on investment. 19, give me 100 million, I'll take that bet every time, all right? But also, last year, $740 million in new investment, 2,200 new jobs in the city of Detroit, and something that's burning the headlines right now is this Michigan Central thing. Let's talk about that for one quick second. When Michigan Central was built, it was in the age of industrialization. Now, it's remade into the age of innovation. That's what I call reuse at its highest level. But industrialization and innovation are symbiotic. See, with an innovation, you still got to have somebody to build the thing, all right? You just can't innovate and walk away. What are you innovating? You innovate things to make them go and be better. And when that better happens, we, unlike most places, many places, particularly on the West Coast, they can innovate, but they send it somewhere else to be built. Here in Detroit, we innovate it and we can build it. That's what makes us special. We're not abandoning our automotive heritage, so don't everybody freak out. We're making it better by evolving it. We are also thinking about how do we take this model and make it stronger. Well, we need educational partners. Santa Ono was here earlier, president of the University of Michigan. The Michigan Center of Innovation is a capstone. It's an anchor. We also have other anchors that are being built in the city of Detroit. $3 billion of investment with Henry Ford Health in Michigan State, making us a center of health excellence, all right? Now, I told you that Detroit is a place where neighborhoods thrive, but we may be experiencing something that I like to call the success curse. The success curse means that we can't displace people because of our success. So the city has built and invested $1 billion over the last 5 years in affordable housing. We got another $1 billion teed up for the next wave of affordable housing. The Preserve on the Ash in North Corktown is the first example of that in that part of the town. We also are focusing on Detroit's legacy businesses, people who were here and never left. What are we doing to support them? Well, this program is designed to help them not only continue to thrive, but make them more technologically sound. Retail for the future, if you will. Hot Sam's is an example of that. Been in town for 100 years. Buying food. Where are we getting our food from? Why do we have to cross 8 Mile to go get fresh food? Neighborhoods like what neighborhood grocers are with Raphael Wright, good friend of mine, doing great things in his neighborhood. So we are supporters of the future of this city. The DEGC does that. But New York Times has said, led by believers, the city's future and Detroit is on a rebound. That's the New York Times. Believe it. We think that as we look into the future, making the investments that we've made, no matter who's in the White House, who's in the governor's mansion, who's over at City Hall, they're a part of a bigger picture. They can impact our momentum, but it's our pillars that make us strong. Thank you very much.
Ever wonder what everyone's doing on their phones? They're banking with Bank of America. They're saving, planning, and budgeting all before dessert.
Digital tools so impressive, you just can't stop banking. What would you like the power to do?